Okay. Well, you come back from your short break. Now, why do we give a short break for you? Tell me. Every inch of studies, there must be some leverage. The leverage is nothing but a time, a space given to what we are doing consistently. Now, the first act when I gave you, I asked you to copy those words. There are 29 words. Okay, deliberately I left one to find out, and finally the 30 words you have capsuled. Now, can you able to, or some of them you already returned because you are mentally recalled it, you just write it once again, one below the other. Can you do that right now? All of you get ready, take a sheet of paper or a notebook, okay, flip over to the new page and start writing what is the first word. Yes, you are getting it, I know. Start from that. So, I will give you about 2 minutes to write this, it will not take much time. Let me see how many of you are writing it in a same sequential order. If at all you get stuck, ask questions. As I told you, asking questions is a left brain activity. When you ask question, immediately right brain, because you are stored by visual method, so you will get it. You will get it. Okay. One minute is over. Now, writing should be faster, because when you know the answer, automatically hands will go faster. That is why I say be confident with your preparation. Even for examination, you will be able to do that much better. Okay, write it and see that. Okay, 30 seconds is left. 30 seconds is left. Okay. Good, I could see some of them already finished it. Okay, now keep those papers which you have written after my techniques and the words which you have written before the techniques. Compare that, and if it is written moon, tick it, give 1 mark to that yourself. If the word bucket, rabbit, I am sorry, rabbit is written below the moon, tick it, give 1 more marks. In case the rabbit is written in somewhere but not in the just below the moon, tick it, give half a mark for that. So, after that any word you are written in order will carry only half a mark. Will carry only a half a mark. Thereby, let us see how we are accumulating your numbers. So, moon, rabbit, doll. If a doll is not there, then half a mark. If it is there, full 1 mark. Okay, like that you try to correct yourself. Correct yourself. Yes. For correction, I will give you 1 minute time. Start now. Yes. Yes. Now, those who have done it, just total it. Total it. And compare that first and the one which was written all the 30. So, definitely there will be a vast difference, but do not have to worry, that time you did it without any techniques, but now you did it with the techniques. So there are two types of memory. One is trained memory, another one is untrained memory. So trained memory will always give 100 out of 100. Untrained memory will give you less than what is required. So students, if you want to score high marks in your examination, please develop your skills. The skill is nothing but memory. It's a life skill. Focus on that, get that and do it. And the memory is one of the vital factor in our brain. The brain consists of 7 multiple intelligence. 7 multiple intelligence. Now I am going to write simply here seven multiple intelligence. So I am writing it in a simple letter LL A M B I 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 letters are there. This is called LAMBII technique. What is this called? LAMBII. LLAMBII. LAMBII. Now the first letter L stand for logic. Make a note please. I am not going to write here. You have to write here. What L stands for? L stands for logic. That means the person who has got a logic brain can do the mathematics very well, or do a business very well, exchanges systems very well, organize very well, keep the books intact very well, and write legibly very well. Like that they do. They have this ability. This is one of the intelligence. It's called L. That is called logic. So what you have written? Logic. Second L stands for linguistic. That means language, right? Language. The second L stands for language because they are able to understand and also able to speak many languages like you. Kannada, English, Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, whatever it may be, they are able to speak and understand many languages as well. This is one of the intelligence. And the third one is A. The A stands for artistic. A stands for artistic. I am not going to write this, you have to write it. Artistic. Artistic means what? A person can perform in like artist like Amitabh Bachchan or any person in the actor, they come into the stage and perform or act in the movie. That ability is there. Plus there is one more artist, that is called artist, writing, like a Picasso. So many people are there, like that. So the artistic skill, they have a drawing skill, sketching skill, whatever it is called. And fourth one is M, that's called musical. What is it called? Musical. The musical ability not only to learn the music but also has got an ability to understand and appreciate the music. Ability to understand and appreciate the music. So music ability is there. You may be one of the singers, or maybe somebody have the ability to play a guitar or anything, tabla, whatever it is. So instrument play, they come under this. So musical ability. And one more intelligence is there, B. What is that B stands for? Bodily. That means anything which concern, anything which makes your body movement. Example, a dance. Dance requires a body movement, So dancing is also an ability, it's a mental ability, and it's an intelligence. And martial arts, it's an intelligence again, and sports activity, person who is involved in sports, maybe cricket or football, whatever it may be, that person has got this intelligence more, they'll become more interested in this physical movement bodily. So the bodily intelligence also very much. Now I am going to this I. I stands for intrapersonal skill. What is that intrapersonal skill? The person who has got intrapersonal skill, they always try to be aloof, they try to be alone, think themselves more. but we cannot underestimate them. Some of your friends may not talk to you much, they will be very silent. Don't underestimate them. They are the people in one day or other will become a scientist or a great author or something, you know, they will do for this world. So that intelligence there, that's called intrapersonal skills. The lastly one is called I, one more I, it is called interpersonal skill. This fellows always wants to be in the midst of people. They always love to be mingling with others, okay, like actors, politicians, okay, teachers, trainers like this, okay, all are allowed to be with a group of people. So this intelligence is more. I must be having this kind of intelligence more, so I am ready right now. So that's an intelligence. Now these 7 intelligence, okay, recently in Harvard University, Howard Gardner, a famous scientist who got 2 times, twice a Nobel Prize for having invented a 7 multiple intelligence in the human brain after intensive clinical research. He found out this. Now recently the 2 more things has added, that is called spatial, and more importantly it is called M. Can you tell me what is M? It stands for memory. So they have found the one of these is a most vital one. When you could able to do this perfectly, make it all right, and other intelligence can also follow. So friends, please concentrate on this. Now what is happening here is, in the brain, as I said, left and right brain, the left brain, these 2 things are there. Which are they? Hope you have written. L stands for logic and L stands for language or linguistic. These 2 are there in the left brain. But the rest of the 7 multiple intelligence includes memory, it's in the right brain. You mean to say left brain doesn't have memory? Yes, it do have, but memory in the left brain, it's called temporary memory lobe, which consists a memory only for the short term. So if you study for a short term memory, then at the time of examination you will not be able to recall the entire information. I come across students, or sometimes it happens to me in my life also, when I write my exams I won't be able to get those information, but as soon as I get out of the examination hall I am getting it. So what is the use? So memory is nothing but storing the right information and the right time, and recalling ability is also same. So now the 7 multiple intelligence, one of the most important intelligence is memory, M. So again I will go back, recapitulate. L stands for logic, other L stands for language, A stands for artistic, M stands for musical, B stands for bodily, that is physical act, I stands for intrapersonal skills, then another I stands for interpersonal skills, and recent study shows S stands for spatial and M stands for the great memory. The memory is a man completeness. Memory is nothing but life, life is nothing but a memory. Now please copy these things. Okay, once you copied, keep the paper aloft. Now what you should do, in order to increase your this thing, those who are right-hander, I am a right-hander, I sign my name like this. So when I am signing my names, my left brain is activated. But at the same time when I do something in the left, when I write on the left hand, my right brain gets activated. So since I am by birth right-hander, so I had to practice my left non-dominant body. If I do that, I will also enhance these intelligence. So what you should do, every day, invariably, without missing a day, 1 A4 size, okay, you start writing your question and answer or your name or whatever it may be, just to practice the left hand. And if you are wearing a shoe, go to the left leg first instead of right. If you want to take a pen, pick it up in left. You want to drink your water, take it in the left and just you can have it. Okay, so use as much possible the left dominant of the body so that your right brain gets activated and you have a lot of benefits out of it. So write one page in the left hand every day for those who are right-hander. For the left-hander, they have to practice right hand, vice versa. That's all. Okay. Now, we talked about the multiple intelligence. We talked about the importance of the memory, which lies in the right brain. Now, come back to this technique which I gave you. The technique which I taught you is moon rabbit. Correct? What is moon rabbit? How it is correlated? Because we associate it in such a way. So, for that, the technique name I am going to give you, the technique name stands, first is ye. Can you write it down?
Okay.
Ye. The first letter states ye. First letter states ye. Write it, write it, write it. You all take your sheet of paper and start writing a big ye on that. So let's see what is the name of that technique. Okay. So you can see from the our screen there is a ye. Now what ye stands for, let us see later. Now next letter going to appear is, what is it? Oh yes, everybody says it's a V. It's a V. Correct? Now let's see what is one more letter going to come now. Wow, it's I. Next letter can be wo. Yeah. So it is called ye, we, I, wo. So this is called AVIO technique. What is it called? Ye, we, I, wo technique. Now let's see what is ye stands for. What is that ye stands for? Ye stands for association. Ye stands for associations. Now you see this pen, I am just detaching. The pen is now become two part. One is pen and the other one is said to be cap. But I am putting it together, then it will be called the entire pen set, correct? So now this is associated properly. If doesn't associate properly, it will not be called as a pen. So ye stands for association. Let's see what is the next letter. We. The V stands for visualization. What do we see? What do we perceive? Visualization is nothing but whenever we think about something, anything, like if I say mobile, so you get a mobile picture, that is a visual part of it, which is already registered in our brain. So V stands for visualization. Next, let's see what the letter says. I. Yes, I stands for imagination. Now those who are writing it, please make a note. You just underline visualization and imagination. Okay. Why I wanted to underline this? These are the two chief faculty of our brain. Two chief faculty of our brain. The person who uses more will become a genius. So what's a genius? Who uses this visual and the imagination skill which is buried in the brain. So make use of this in studies. It will become very fun and frolic. Then what is that last letter stands for? Letter C. It should be O, no? So it is organization. What is my organization? Putting everything in organized manner. Putting everything into organized manner. So first is A, stands for association, V for visualization, I for imagination, and O for organization. Now what is that imagination? How does it differ from visualization? For example, I will give you an example. I am a fond believer plus fond adorned, actually I could say, the fond of one actress called Aishwarya Rai. Aishwarya Rai is, I am very liking her because, not because of her beauty, not because she is a well versed dancer, or not because she is well affluent or something else. I tell you later. Now Aishwarya Rai, when I say, won't you get that actress Aishwarya Rai in your mind? When you get that picture, that is visualization. Now I am describing Aishwarya Rai is wearing a white dress studded with the diamonds, sparkling diamonds. Just visualize Aishwarya Rai wearing a white dress studded with the sparkling diamonds. Now she got two beautiful wings. Now I say Aishwarya Rai to come and greet all the digital students, and she's just fluffing her wings and just coming and saying hi to you. Can't you think about this in the mind? Here Aishwarya Rai is real, she is a visualization, and there are two wings attached to her. That's called imagination. So wherever possible, visual and imagination impact to be given to the studies. When you given to the studies become fun, and you will be very interested to study and read and register. Okay, so O stands for organization. Now we will go back to that other format, how it can be applied in the studies. So we will see the application. What I am going to do is, before you do that, you take out your book and see that what is it multiple intelligence you have written, that letters, and what does it says, number one. Number two, what is this technique what I given it today? This is called AVIO technique. Okay, what A stands for association, V stands for visualization, I stands for imagination, and O stands for organization. Now this AVIO technique can be very effectively used in your studies from today. You don't have to wait for a day to come. Just today, when you go back home, whatever the format or principle I am giving you, just go through it once again and start apply it today. So for that application, there are norms, there are certain principles to be adopted. What are that principle? The first one is, read any given paragraph carefully. Read any given paragraph carefully. What does it mean? If you take out any chapter, every chapter is divided into number of paragraph. Yes or no? Every paragraph, every chapter is divided into number of paragraphs. Each paragraphs, now I am just showing it here. Now what's happened is, just I'll concentrate on the board here for some time. So this is a paragraph. Okay, this is 20% and this is 80%. Now 20% is equal to information, and 80% is equal to grammar. Can you understand that? When you take a paragraph, when you read it, you wanted to have only 20% which is carries the information, but 80% will be the grammar. So you need to take out only that information from them. Now I will go back to the screen. I will go back to the screen and say, take any paragraph, okay, read that, okay, and given paragraphs to be carefully. That's a point number one. Okay. What is point number two, let us say? Now take out the keywords from them. What is that keywords? You know that keywords are very important word which trigger that information, so that you, in order to remember them in order. So if you don't ask your teacher what is keywords, keywords are very important. So underline those keywords. That's what I said, take out the keywords. So first you reading the paragraph carefully, and the second attempt is you are making a underlining, that is you are trying to take out the keywords, and the third one is write those keywords one below the other vertically. What does it mean vertically? Take out the words, instead of writing horizontally, you write it one below the other vertically. Our right brains has got a long term memory, able to read vertical information very faster than the linear method, which only the left brain can observe. So adapt this technique, only the keywords to be written one below the other vertically. So first again I go back, read the paragraph carefully, take out the second point is take out the keywords, and third one is write it down below, one below the other vertically. Clear? Now let us see what is the fourth point going to be. The fourth points to be, now memorize those vertical information, that is whatever you written one below the other, memorize them by using illogical method known as AVIO technique. Dear friends, I told you AVIO technique, okay, as I said, it has to be used illogically. Like the way we went to moon, we saw the rabbit, we saw his friend the doll, you know, all that in a practical it is not possible, but we used visualization and imagination to create those things illogically. That's how we are used to remember those words in such a way. Correct? So similarly the same thing, write those vertical information, the vertical information to be memorized. I am using a word called memorize by using logical method known as AVIO technique. Okay, you are memorizing it. Now let us see what happened after the memorization. Yes, what happens is when you memorize, now go back to the paragraph once again. Now what has happened is you have understood the components of the statement. That components, once you remember, is easy to find the grammar inside. So what happened is you go back to the paragraph and understand and comprehend its essence. Okay, and finally you reproduce those paragraph itself with your logical conclusions. What do you mean by logical conclusion? Okay, every questions, every answers, every paragraph, it has to be recalled as per the chapters. But while you are doing it, you make it as illogical, but while reproducing it, it should be more and more logical. So once you do that, you will not miss any point. You will not miss any point because you have stored in such a way, you given an attempt to understand how the information stores in our brain. Okay, now go back to the one. First, read any given paragraph carefully, and the second point is take out the keywords from them, and the third point is write it down or jot it down one below the other vertically. That's very important because, as I said, vertical information read by right brain, which stores a long term memory. Okay, fourth is after memorization, to memorize those vertical information by using a logical method, as I told you, AVIO technique. And once you memorize, when you know the components of the information, go back to the paragraph and understand its essence. Oh, this is what it conveys. It is what conveys, you understand. After that, finally reproduce the paragraph or whatever the information you want as it is, using the components with the logical conclusions. So thereby you will not miss out any points. Even in examination, the evaluator will not feel confused because you are given entire information sequential order, so they will correct and give you the maximum marks so that you can grade well, you know. Hope you do this, and today when you go home, please take up your books. Even history can be applied here, economics can be applied here, okay, and even geography can be applied here, okay, and even science it can be applied. All the subject, even English can be applied, okay. When I meet you next time, I will teach you the method how the chemistry portion, physics portion, and even the mathematical difficult formula can be remembered, because that is going to be the second system where it has to be explained. So today we learned AVIO technique, and also we have confronted multiple intelligence, which is core, where the memory plays a big role. As I told you, in the 7 multiple intelligence, the 2 more multiple intelligence are recently founded by the Harvard University. They call it as spatial and memory. Earlier they did not know memory was a skill, memory was a intelligence. Now it's been proved, you are intelligence, if you are too good, keep your memory intact. When you keep your memory intact, definitely you will be able to do that. Now you will have an idea in the sense how I am going to identify this. So can I show you a small what you call example for this, how to apply these techniques? Well, now take one more fresh sheet. Be ready, all of you. Be ready. Now open a new page. Okay, on the top of the page you write application of AVIO technique. Before application you mention one P. What is that P? It's called practical applications. What is it called? Practical applications. Okay, now I am going to give you a word. Let's see. What is that word? Let us see. Okay, are you all ready? Okay. Now write a practical application, P applications for AVIO technique. Now below that the statement is there. I shall reach and maintain. I shall reach and maintain alpha waves of mental state and thereby generate creative ideas most of the time. Creative ideas most of the time. I repeat the statement once again. I shall reach and maintain alpha waves of mental state and thereby generate creative ideas most of the time. I have written 10 sankalpas in my book. In that, this particular sankalpa comes as a second one. The first one is different. I firmly believe that I have the potential for creative genius. I have written it, so I will make the students to neglect that. Similarly, what I do is, the second one is very important, and that informations which I wanted to give you when I meet you next class. Now just you written this, okay, can you? Yeah. Now when you written this, again you go and read it, okay, read it once again. Now try to find out which is the keywords in them. Okay. The keywords are, let us say what the keywords is. Okay. Have you noted down the keywords? Now I am going to give the keywords. Let's see what are the keywords. The keywords are nothing but reach. Now write it one below the other. Maintain, alpha, waves, mental state, generate creative ideas time. Creative ideas time. So you have taken that only the components of the statement and written one below the other. Okay. Now what happens is, now these are vertical information you are going to memorize. Now as I said, these vertical information can be memorized through illogical method, which as I said AVIO technique. Now how do we do this? Now what is the first word? Reach. Yes. Now I keep this pen somewhere in my room or in the distance place. Okay. Just example, I will keep it somewhere distant. I kept the pen. Now I am going to reach out. I am going to reach out. So the first word is I am reaching. So remember, reach is registered. As I was reaching, there is imbalance in the ground. So I am try to understand. I try to maintain myself. So the next word is maintained. So I am reaching something, reach, and there is a imbalance in the ground. So I am trying to maintain, and somewhere in the distance I saw a alpha. Alpha, okay. I just visualize a Islamic girl with her burqa. She is coming. Her name is Alpha, let us say. So I see a girl in distance, a alpha, a girl is coming. When I am trying to maintain, I saw a alpha. Behind that alpha, there is a huge waves comes. Maybe tsunami, who knows? Behind that alpha, who's coming? Big waves. At the moment I saw the waves, oh my God, you just think about my mental state. Think about my mental state. I was so much afraid, frightened. Okay, what I did, I went and hidden behind the generator. So that remains me generate. So what did I do? I went and just myself hidden behind the generator. You know what is generator which gives a power? When I went behind the generator, my creative ideas started working. I look at the watch. When I was start working, I started looking at the watch. When I start looking at the watch, some ideas came out. That's all. So I create a small episode for to remember this word. So I try to reach and maintained. I saw a distant alpha, a girl, and behind there is a huge waves, and my mental state was so much frightened. I went behind the generator and hidden myself. There I saw the creative ideas started popping into my mind, and I was looking at my watch. I was looking at the watch. So what happens? Now these components of the words is already stacked or already stored in the brain in a different format. That means in a visual format. When we read the statement, we don't get that visual, but when we do this with attempt, all that visual impact created, and I see the picture of a different kind. Now you will be able to recall. All of you close your eyes for a few minutes. Close your eyes for a few minutes, please, and try to think that episode. What do you see first? You are trying to get the word reach. What next word you are getting it? Maintain. After the maintain, what are you getting? Yeah, you see the alpha. And then, oh my God, your mental state. And then generator, generate. And then you are getting a word creative. And then ideas. and then time, and then time. So what happens? All the components are stacked, stored in a such a way. Now you will have to go back to the paragraph. When you go back to the paragraph, you read I shall, the word should be added, it is a grammar. Reach you already memorized, so I shall reach, and a conjunction should be used here. I shall reach and maintain already stored. Alpha waves of should be given here article, mental state, and again conjunction, thereby a word conjunction which connect two word, okay, thereby generate, instead of generated, generate creative ideas most of the time. So again, once again I will say that word, I shall reach and maintain alpha waves of mental state and thereby generate creative ideas most of the time. Hope you are getting the statement without repeating it. See, earlier you were doing, or you were memorizing, you were not memorizing, you are by hearting it, by repeating it like this. I shall reach and reach and reach, and I shall reach and maintain, I shall reach and maintain alpha waves, alpha mental state mental. See, this is a repetition process. This is called rote memory. What is this called? Rote memory. Write it, R-O-T-E method. Rote memory method. Rote memory method. But rote memory is very good. We did all this rote memory is used in our younger days, young generation, when we used it. When we used it, when we are in a young stage, even today we remember those words like twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Do you remember, no? Because I don't know, somewhere in my young stage I had, did that. Okay. Now, that rote memory, today's information, it is not possible because we have lot of informations. If you start using a rote memory into today's information, you will be left behind. You will be left behind. In the sense, the rote memory requires lot of time. In other words, it consumes a lot of time. It consumes a lot of time. Whereas you have limited time, you have to read more. So learn more in less time. You have to shift from rote memory to creative memory method. So this all comes under creative memory method, like the way I did number in demonstration. Okay, all that requires a phenomenal techniques are available. We will need to give you, and it has to be practiced systematically and applied. Okay, so rote memory can be dejected or it can be ignored, and try to adopt to a new system called creative memory method. In a systematic study approach, the today world is required such a formula, not a rote memory method. If you are still using a rote memory method, you can do it, but still it puts you behind to the competent authority. In the sense, you will not be able to show your mettle in a such a way. And the people who use creatively, they can come forward and they can overtake you. So why don't you too behind, instead of that, be with them and use this creative force. So rote memory, you keep it up. When it comes to the creative memory, how does creative memory helps? Creative memory helps because in creative memory we use all the senses. We use all senses. Now how many senses we are having? We don't know. We know that we are using 5 senses. Which are they? First is visual. Second is auditory, hearing. The third is touch, feeling. Fourth is smelling through nose. and the fifth is tongue, tasting, tasting, correct, tasting. So tasting, smelling, hearing, visual, that is seeing, and hearing, seeing, and touch, feeling. Now these are the 5 senses we have. You have to use the 5 senses when you are using a creative memory method. But I also say you should use one more method, one more sense to be used. What is that? Can you give me that answer? Okay, it's not a 6th sense or a 7th sense like people are say. It is called nonsense. So 6th sense should be used as a nonsense. So physics, chemistry, and the mathematics, this technique can be used very well, so that what happens is you will be able to remember those information creatively and also for a long time. Now take one more sheet of paper, please. Now application of AVIO technique I told you. Now I have given a small examples here. Okay, that examples how to take the keywords. Now keywords can be divided into 2 words. One is noun, other one is verb. One is noun and other is verb. So without the verb component you cannot remember what the noun says. For example, reach, it's a verb. Alpha is a noun because a name, correct, as I said. So both will be combined, but you should know which one is triggering the informations. So that's become a keyword again. Okay, but when you take a now new sheet, you write one small formula for a physics, chemistry, and biology. Okay, formula for physics, chemistry, and biology. Hope you have written that. Okay, just below that you write one H is equal to we written H, big H is equal to W, and next to W put 8, number 8. What is that formula says? 1H, that is H is written, no need of number. H is equal to okay, is equal to W. Yes. Now what I am going to do is I will write it here and see that whether you are written it correctly.